guys. Today we're going to take a look at forecasting income sheets. So we're used to doing an income sheet for the previous year, taking all the information and figuring out what it was in actuality, but we need to predict what it's possibly going to be the next year. That's important for a lot of reasons, but we're actually doing it to predict taxes. And we're going to talk about why in a couple of days, but for now just know we need to be able to forecast. Alright, so let's take a look at this sheet here. It's your typical income statement that I've shown you already, but I've got 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19 here already filled out, and we're trying to predict what it will be in 2020. Okay, now of course 2020 is almost over in reality, so we probably have a pretty good idea, but we're going to pretend this was in January. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Over in this box, or this box somewhere on the side, we're going to do a little formula here to figure out how much has it been growing every year. So as an example, let me show you this. This is a graph that shows, this is another example from a textbook. It shows the sales every year, and it shows how they're going kind of up in this direction. And so we're going to use a trend like this to figure out where will it be the next year. And you can see down here we have the annual growth rate, and they're actually figuring out the percentages, and then they're able to figure out the average. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go back over here, and we're going to figure out the percentage change every year and then find the average. So let me show you. So we're going to press equal, and what we're going to do is we're going to take 2016, the bigger, well, it's not always bigger, but the most recent one, and then we're going to subtract the old. Oh, I forgot parentheses around this. Sorry. So we got parentheses, the newest minus the oldest. Then we're going to do divide by the oldest. Okay, we're going to turn this into percent. So what this is this is a 5% growth. That's what this is. We grew 5%. Okay. Another way to do this, I believe we can take equals this divided by this, and then press -1, and then turn that into a decimal, or I'm sorry, into a percent. And that's the same thing. So you got two ways of doing this. You could take the newest minus the oldest divided by the oldest, or you can take the newest divided by the oldest -1. Both ways will work in this example. The most important thing is just that you're careful and you get these formulas correct. So I'm going to write this down. We're going to do equals oldest. This is what I'm going to do, divided by the newest, forgot parentheses, newest minus oldest divided by oldest. Okay, of course that's going to freak out because it doesn't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put this in quotations. Okay, so newest minus oldest divided by oldest. And that's what I did here. Newest minus oldest divided by oldest. Okay, we're going to do this again. Now you should be able to just stretch this out and do this for the next 4 years and see some magic just happened. So I'll show you this again. But what I'm doing is I'm actually copying this formula, and I'm moving it over. And as I do, what's happening is, you can see it up here. Let me double click it. Now it's taking D5, so it's taking this newest minus this oldest. Okay, if you go to the next one, it's taking this newest, 2018, minus 2017 divided by 17. And then on this last one, the 2019 divided by 2018. So anyway, you see the point here. So it's automatically it just knows. It figures out there's a program inside Google Sheets that knows when I extend this, I'm expecting it to do that as we move forward over here as well. Anyway, it just saved me a ton of time, so I didn't have to do that 4 times, right? So one more time, newest minus oldest divided by oldest, then just extend this out, and you'll have all 4. So now the last thing we got to do, I'm going to move over a little bit. We're going to figure out the average. So equals average shows up right here. All right, average. And then what we're going to do is we're going to average all of these percentages. And so I'm growing by an average of 4.41%. Okay, so to make this final, here's what we do. We're going to press equal. Take the newest value, and we're going to multiply it by 1 plus this. Okay, so what's pretty much happened here is, I'm going to change this to financial, because that's annoying. What has happened here is I took 735, let me show you. I took 735, that's F5, and multiplied it by 1, which is 100%, plus 4.41%. So in other words, I'm multiplying it by 104.41%. That makes it grow. The 100 gives me the old value, and the 4.41 is the growth. Anyway, this is the formula we use to finish that out. Okay, so I'm going to put equals, then we're going to do previous times 1 plus the average percent. Okay, so that's the formula we're using. Put this in quotations so it'll stay. So we got the previous times 1 plus the average percent. So I'm going to do this a few more times so you'll see. Okay, so let's do this again. So let's do, in fact, I might be able to just take this downward, and we'll double check the math here, but I believe this is, yep, so this is taking C6, the new, minus the old, divided by the old, which gives me my first percentage. And then all I got to do is take that out. Oh, not this last one though, because this is my average. So we grew by this much every year, and now I've got my average. So what I'm going to do here with my average, I'm going to pull it down. Okay, just to double check, make sure we did that correctly. It's averaging these four together. All right, so the average growth, and this was for operating costs, the average growth for operating costs was 5.21%. Okay, so then what we're going to do here is we are going to do this up here. We're going to do the previous. In fact, we might be able to do this magic again. And we'll double check our math here. We'll take the previous, F6, times 1 plus the average percent, which is L6. So, yep, that works. Now, we don't have to guess on this next line, because this next line on the income statement is the EBITDA. So we're actually just going to do the income statement portion of this. We're going to say this equals this minus this. And so on this right here, sorry, I'm going to format this real quick. It looks ugly. This is 84,000. That's what we expect to have in EBITDA next year. Okay, but we do need to do this for depreciation and amortization. So we're going to go ahead and just copy that down here, and then make sure that the math is correct, because copying it sometimes will do weird things. So we got C9, yep, minus B9 divided by B9. So yeah, it grew by 32%, quite a bit. Okay, and then we're going to extend this out for 4 times. Okay, and we've been losing depreciation since then. So the trend is definitely going to be down. Okay, so then we're going to copy this average. You can make sure the math is right here. Average of this, yeah. Then we're going to go over here, and we're going to figure out this formula. So this is the same formula as that one. So just double check. This is the newest plus 1 times the average, and that worked. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend all of these down. Okay. Cool. Extend that one. Extend that one. Okay, now I didn't go down any further because this is just an addition of this expectation. And you can see these are matching trends. This is similar across the board for amortization. And so we're going to add these up. Cool. And then EBIT, or EBIT, is equal to this minus this. All right, lost some formatting here. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so far that seems to be in trend. That seems to be about where we've been at. Let's go ahead and calculate interest. Now interest has stayed the same, so because of that, I know it's going to be 5291. I don't have to go and do the math there. Okay, so let's just save ourselves some headache. And then EBT we calculate, so equals this minus this. Cool. Then we got some taxes. Now taxes depends on the EBT. So of course we're not going to have to do any of this again for this portion. We're going to press equals this times 0.21. That's how we calculate the taxes. I'm going to change this to financial. Whoops. Get rid of those decimals. Okay. And then we're going to calculate the net income. So this is going to be equal to the EBT minus the taxes. Okay. Then we got preferred dividends. Now, this is a possible trend. We do set this. So it doesn't have to be a trend. If we know what our preferred dividends are going to be, then we can just set it. For this example, just to practice what we're doing, we're not going to set it. We're going to go ahead and just look at the average. But in the real world, you would not do that for preferred dividends or for common dividends. You can just set those because you have the control over that, complete control. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the averages here. So this is Control C. For preferred dividends and for common dividends, we're going to extend that for 4. Extend this one for 4. And then we are going to take an average, copy that formula down. And you can double check any of these just by double clicking. Okay, so if you feel like something was done incorrectly, you can check. And then we're going to copy this guy up here. And just to make sure, we can check kind of like the numbers here, make sure it's not completely crazy, but it looks good. So everything looks good here. So what we're going to do is format this real quick, and then I'm going to press equals. And then we're going to take the previous net income before preferred dividends minus the preferred dividends. And then down here, format this real quick. And press equals net income minus common dividends. And there we go, my addition to retained earnings. So now I have an estimate of 2020's income statement. This is just an estimate. I know I went pretty quickly through this, but you're really just, once you create the formula one time, you're just recreating it on certain lines. So for net sales, for operating costs, depreciation, amortization, and then not again until preferred dividends and common dividends. And yeah, if you want to, you can rewatch this, or you can ask me some specific questions if you feel like you didn't understand something, and I'll help you out. If you feel like the video is too fast, you can always go watch it directly on YouTube and actually slow the speed down if that would help. Either way, just let me know if you have any questions, and then move on to independent work. It looks just the same, okay? And you should be able to go back and see some of these formulas and use them. All right? So good luck.